Good morning and welcome to NewsWatch Today. I'm Ruby Mitchell.
And I'm Nicholas Brownlee. This week, Evangel is hosting its first ever Smash Burger competition.
And the EU Art Gallery is exhibiting a guest artist.
Madison Tabor is here with your forecast, and Nicholas McKinley has your latest sports news. This is NewsWatch Today. Thanks for joining us this morning. Standing by is our weather anchor, Madison, to give us the first look at weather.
Yes, Madison, we've been having some unusually warm winter weather.
Some really warm weather lately in January, and that's very odd, but as we can see, we have a high of 51 with a low of 46 and some light rain with 17 miles per hour for wind, so you're going to kind of feel it here and there. And then right down here we have lots of rain coming up into southern Missouri, so all of southern Missouri is dealing with some form of weather going on, whether it's intense rains or lots of thunderstorms, and then eventually all of Missouri is actually going to be filled with rain, and so all of Missouri needs to make sure they have their weather coats on and making sure that they are out of the rain. But for today, we have a high of 44 with a 89% chance of rain today. So if you've already been out, you've seen the rain showers and you've seen how really intense it's going to be with the weather. So make sure you have on a raincoat or an umbrella with you. And we'll have a wind of 19 miles per hour, so you will feel some of that wind. But it's going to be very rainy today, so make sure you're prepared for that. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Madison. I can't wait to see the full forecast.
Yeah, hopefully these warmer temperatures can stick around.
January is coming to an end, and that is why the Student Development, Activities Board, and Culinary Council came together to pull off the most exciting end-of-the-month celebration in Evangel University, Clash of the Smash Burgers. 5 chef teams will be in the Valor Dining Hall working on their signature burgers, and students will get to vote on their favorite burger. 5 teams, consisting of faculty and staff members, will be competing tomorrow at 8 over 3 criteria: best flavor/experience, best burger, name, and best presentation.
Evangel University recently opened a guest artist exhibit in the Fine Arts Gallery. The exhibit, Artistic Problem Solving at Work and Play by Bill G. Young, is a collection consisting of hyper-realistic bird carvings, landscape designs, vintage tractors crafted from wood and metal, and an assortment of pen and ink drawings. If you're interested in admiring this exhibit, it is in Evangel's Art Gallery inside at the Fine Arts Building. The exhibit is open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. until 4:30 p.m. through March 24th.
This week, Donald Trump hinted that Microsoft is interested in acquiring TikTok. This came after the app was temporarily shut down as the U.S. legislature required ByteDance to sell their stake in the app. Politicians have cited ByteDance's close proximity with the Chinese government as the reason for this ban. Trump, however, issued a 75-day extension so that American companies could bid over the app. A spokesperson for Microsoft said there's nothing more to share on this subject.
Starbucks will be making some changes to its business, beginning with a slight modification to its name, which is now Starbucks Coffee Company. In addition to the name switch, the organization will be returning to policies that changed during the COVID-19 pandemic. Milk and sweetener stations are back, and customers' names will be handwritten on cups once more. Free refills for select orders will be made available to all paying customers, and bathrooms are exclusively for those who have made a purchase. Starbucks CEO says these changes are in hopes of returning the coffeehouse vibe that has diminished in recent years.
Google Maps will change the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. In a social media post, Google explained it has a long-standing practice of changing names that have been updated in official government sources. The name will be tweaked when the government database is updated. Google will also change the name of Denali, America's highest peak, back to Mount McKinley. Former President Barack Obama renamed the Alaska landmark in 2015 as a nod to the region's native population. Both changes stem from an executive action that President Trump signed shortly after taking office. Google says only U.S. users will see the name changes. The rest of the world will continue to see the official global names as well.
On Monday, February 3rd, Evangel's Music Education Club will be hosting a fundraiser at Raising Cane's. The proceeds will go to Evangel's NAFME chapter, a national organization for music education majors. All you need to do to participate is go to the Raising Cane's on 321 West Sunshine Street between 4 o'clock p.m. and 9 o'clock p.m. When you order, be sure to tell them that you are there for Evangel's Music Club fundraiser, and a portion of the purchase will be donated to the club.
Coming up, Americans are expected to travel the oceans in record number.
After that, I'll be here to discuss more about the Smash Burger and Evangel's spiritual emphasis. Stick with us.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
What a disaster.
You're a disaster.
This is a disaster.
You can't be ready for every little disaster, but you can prepare for a big one. Make an emergency plan today.
Severe weather can strike anytime, anywhere, but there's a simple way to stay safe. Hey, Jim Cantore here. I stay safe in dangerous weather by planning ahead. You can stay safe too with a few easy steps. Build an inexpensive kit with supplies for your family's needs. Write down important information like phone numbers and medications. Always talk with your family and remember any pets in your planning. Be ready, be safe. Start your plan today at ready.gov/plan.
According to AAA, a record number of Americans are projected to go on ocean cruises this year. 19 million in total. That would be 4.5% more than last year. It would also make 2025 the third year in a row of record cruise passenger volume. It marks a post-pandemic cruise industry rebound that's been stronger than other travel segments right now. The most popular destination for Americans is the Caribbean. That's where nearly 75% of U.S. cruise passengers are going this year. So, Ruby, what do you have to say about Spiritual Emphasis Week this week?
Yeah, so this week is Spiritual Emphasis. Last semester, we know that we went to a different kind of feel for Spiritual Emphasis where we did a youth conference, but now we're kind of back to the roots of where that came from. So now we've brought Reggie Dabbs in. He spoke at chapel on Thursday, and the student body seemed to kind of really enjoy that sermon and enjoy his personality. Thursday night, we're going to be having Spiritual Emphasis back in Spence Chapel at 7 o'clock, where Reggie Dabbs will be speaking again. And then Bethany from Bethel Worship will be leading worship with Evangel's worship team again that night. And then Friday morning back in chapel, we are going to be having, again, Reggie Dabbs is going to be speaking for the final event for Spiritual Emphasis. So I'm really excited. I think it's going to be, the student body really seems to be enjoying the worship, enjoying the focus back on spiritual emphasis, especially beginning the semester off in January with that recentering of spiritual emphasis.
That is exciting.
Yeah.
Especially because Reggie and Bethany make such a good team.
They really do, yeah. It was a great sermon, yeah.
Yeah. But you know what else is fun?
What is fun?
The Clash of the Smash Burgers.
Clash of the Smash Burgers, that's right.
As I mentioned earlier, this is an end of the month celebration because it takes place on Friday, January 31st. But it is also the first ever Clash of the Smash Burgers.
Yes.
Last year, the Smash Burger competition was inspired by our good friend Mark and
Yeah, so last spring, Pastor Mark introduced his smash burger, and the student body just lines out the wazoo to get their hands on a smash burger. So this year they kind of brought that back and they revamped that into a competition. So now we've got 5 different chefs, 5 different smash burgers, Sodexo fries, and it sounds like the student body is really excited for this experience.
I can see why. And I also would like to point out how it could also symbolize the motivation to keep pressing on and look ahead to what we've got in the future.
Yeah.
Because again, it takes place on the last day of January.
Yeah.
After that day, it will have been February.
Exactly. So again, looking ahead, let's move on to weather. Madison?
Yes, we've had some really warm weather lately with some green coming out, and it's already in January, green coming. That's crazy. But we see some very heavy rain today and the next few days, but we'll see more of that in my forecast in the future. So stick around with us.
There is a road laid out for me.
First night here, but Amy seems cool.
Leading down to the river. I am blind, but I need not see.
What do you think?
I know this road is there for me. If I'm really free, take me down to the river and walk.
When times get dark, we can't see the help that's all around us. Let 211 be your guiding light for mental health and other resources. Call 211 or visit 211.org.
The Smithsonian's National Zoo and Conservation Biology Institute in Washington, D.C. debuted 2 new giant pandas earlier this week. According to the Smithsonian, Bao Li and Qing Bao's introduction to the zoo makes the Smithsonian's National Zoo the only free place in the nation to see giant pandas. To celebrate the giant panda's return, the zoo is hosting a variety of family-friendly activities to educate on and celebrate these beautiful bears.
Yes, we've had some wonderful weather here in January with some very warm temperatures, but let's see what was going on through the next day. So we have a high of 51 with a low of 46. We have some light rain going on with 17 miles per hour of wind, so not too bad. And today, we have a high of 44. So yesterday we had it being a little bit warmer, and today we're kind of going back down into what January usually feels like with an 89% chance of rain. So you're definitely going to see rain today. So make sure you have your rain jackets, your umbrellas, your coats. You're staying warm. You're staying out of the rain. And we have a wind of 19 miles per hour. So it's not going to be super windy, but still enough to where you can feel it and understand what's going on. And we go into Friday. We're not going to see any more rain. We're going to have some overcast weather, but we are still in the 44 degrees with a low of 35. And so going on into the next for Saturday, we have a 58 degrees, so we're going kind of back up, going into February with some very warm weather and partly cloudy with 36 degrees of the weekend. So we're going to see a very nice weekend weather. And going into the satellite, we can see the rain and the clouds going into Missouri, going into Arkansas and Tennessee. So we're having some cloudy weather, some light rain going on into this day and the next couple of days. And going into our radar, as we stated before, we see the rain coming up into Missouri. So all of southern Missouri is feeling the weather, feeling the rain, and eventually all of Missouri will be covered by the rain. But as we go into the next few days, we'll see the rain kind of dissolve and go out. Back over here, as stated before, we still see some more rain, thunderstorms, so we might see some power outages get back in. I know there was one last night, and we had our power back on at 2 in the morning, but we'll probably see more of that. And into our final full week, as stated before, Sunday is going to be a really warm day. We're going to see some spring come in, which is awesome because it's Groundhog Day. So hopefully that will help the groundhog say that spring has come, because I love spring and I don't want any more of the cold weather. But then we get into Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and we're going back down into the 40s, some colder weather, but not too bad for February. So make sure you're adjusting to the weather, you're wearing the appropriate gear, and you're getting back into all the things weathery. But that's all we have for today, so back to you guys.
Thanks, Madison. Nick, did you bring an umbrella?
No, I did not.
Well, it sounds like you're going to be needing it.
Yes, I am. After the break, Nicholas McKinley will be here to give us the latest in sports.
And researchers have made an interesting discovery on our habits. We'll be right back with that and more. Sounds beautiful.
Still can't get over the fact that
My biggest fear in the middle of my addiction was that I would never be able to get over it and that my kids wouldn't have a father. I started thinking, you know what? This isn't my story. For the longest time, fear held me back from ultimately being who I wanted to. I had to become a better man to be a better father. It's important to me that my kids are empowered and truly believe that if they can think it, they can do it.
When times get dark, we can't see the help that's all around us. Let 211 be your guiding light for help with food, healthcare, and other resources.
211, how can I help you?
Call 211 or visit 211.org. 211, get connected, get help.
Already struggling with that New Year's resolution? Be patient and stick with it. A new study suggests forming healthy new habits takes a lot longer than you may think. According to research from the University of South Australia, new habits typically take around 2 months to ingrain and can take as long as a year to stick. To reach this conclusion, researchers analyzed data from 20 years earlier, students that involved more than 2,600 participants. Both studies measured habitual behavior to find an overall trend in the time needed for healthy habits to form. More research is needed to find out how successful people were in sustaining new habits.
Wow, that's fascinating.
Yeah. Now let's have Nicholas McKinley fascinate us with the world of sports.
Thank you, Nicholas. The teams for NFL Super Bowl 59 have been set. The Kansas City Chiefs will be playing the Philadelphia Eagles in the coveted showdown. This matchup comes after the Eagles dominated the Washington Commanders in the NFC Championship on Sunday. The Chiefs, on the other hand, had to beat the Buffalo Bills in a nail-biter to get to the coveted game. Super Bowl 59 will be taking place at Caesars Superdome in New Orleans. The game will start at 5:20 Central Time on February 9th. The Super Bowl will be broadcasted on Fox Network and will stream for free on Tubi. The Miami Heat have suspended star athlete Jimmy Butler indefinitely from gameplay after Butler left the team's morning shoot-around on Monday. Butler's dramatic leave occurred when he learned he wouldn't be returning to starting play. This is Butler's third suspension in 5 weeks, which comes as Butler has requested to be traded by the Heat organization. His suspension is set to last for at least 5 games. 2 Evangel athletes are being honored by the KCAC this week. Track and field athletes Delaney Miller and Jacob Gillis were named KEAC's Men's and Women's Field Athletes of the Week. This recognition came after 2 impressive performances at the NAIA JUCO Challenge on Saturday. Miller was the top women's high jump at the meet and set a meet record, while Gillis set both the meet and school record for men. That day also had Gillis having the second highest jump in the nation.
That's exciting news about our Evangel athletes.
Indeed, and I can't wait to see who wins the Super Bowl. Stay tuned to hear about this year's Groundhog Day festivities when we get back.
When times get dark, We can't see the help that's all around us. Let 211 be your guiding light for mental health and other resources. Call 211 or visit 211.org.
Groundhog Day is on February 2nd, and early that morning, Punxsutawney Phil and his shadow will be determining if there will be 6 more weeks of winter or an early spring. Groundhog Day has been celebrated in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania since the late 1800s. This year, the town will be celebrating the holiday with a pancake fundraiser, a craft show at the community center, and free showings of the movie Groundhog Day, as well as other festivities hosted by local businesses. If you want to participate in this tradition, wake up early, gather with your friends, and tune in to see what Phil decides. I personally cannot wait to see if Phil says we'll have an early spring.
Me neither. Madison, what are your predictions on the weather?
Well, I really hope Phil does say that spring has sprung, because I really want spring to be here. But let's look at the forecast. As we said before, today it's 44 degrees with lots of rain, and we're going to stay in the 40s until Saturday. We're going to have a very high 58, with Sunday being our hottest day of the week with 65 degrees. So make sure you get out your shorts if you can, because the weather won't stay like this for long. We'll be in the 44s on Monday and 39 and 39 on Wednesday and Tuesday. So make sure you get back your coats on, because shorts won't be out for long. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Madison. That's all for us today. Check out euvalormedia.com for more Evangel news. I'm Nicholas Brownlee.
And I'm Ruby Mitchell. Please join us next week here on NewsWatch Today.